Australian Idol has returned. Australian Idol is back after the last season of Australian Idol must have been like 2007, 2008. They have brought it back in a revamped format this year on Channel 7. To all non-Australians, you know what Australian Idol is. American Idol, Pop Idol, I think it originally was in the UK. Created by Simon Cowell. It's been licensed all over the world. And talent shows often would just sort of pick up and peter out a little bit, particularly here in Australia. There's been X Factor, The Voice, Australia's Got Talent, but Australian Idol was definitely the original here, and it hasn't been on for a very, very long time. Of course, if you're a long-time listener of this podcast, you may know Guy Sebastian. He was the first Australian Idol, and I would argue of all of the contestants on the show, he's probably the most successful, not necessarily internationally, but domestically, Guy is very well known. He's got a very strong legacy as the winner of Australian Idol. However, long-term listeners of the show will know that Guy Sebastian is responsible for the biggest ever rhyme crime on this show, an old segment we used to do on this show, with his song Choir.
Too busy to call, we'll catch up next week, and then it gets to next week, and we say maybe next week.
So Australian Idol's back. They've got brand new judges, Kyle Sandilands, of course, of the Kyle and Jackie O show, Harry Connick Jr., Amy Shark, and Meghan Trainor. I'm actually quite a fan of Meghan Trainor. I think she's a really good singer. But a few things I found. I had to watch it. It aired last night, Monday night. I had to watch it. I just wanted to see, because my prediction was that this would undoubtedly be one of the biggest rating flops in history. I just couldn't imagine that a brand like Australian Idol could come back to Australian TV like 15 years after it last aired and everyone suddenly be into it, particularly with the saturation of talent shows on Australian television. Like, we're still doing The Voice, which I'm pretty sure is on the same network as Australian Idol. So I found that really interesting. So I watched it, I tuned in. Boy, oh boy, is it cringeworthy television. One of the first things I found really funny was they just, they started the show and they had all the new judges sort of going, yeah, like, this is what we're looking for. This is what we're looking for. Have a listen to this. I just found this really jarring. So we've got, speaking in this order, Harry Connick Jr., Meghan Trainor, and then Amy Shark. Amy's the one you want to pay attention to.
I am looking for something I can't really describe.
We're going to find a superstar.
This is my first time ever doing anything like this.
Harry's like, this is something I can't describe. Meghan, we are looking for a superstar. And then Amy's just like, I've never done this. I don't know. I don't know why I found that funny. Like, all the hosts are saying these really profound things. And then Amy Shark's just like, yeah, I've never done this before. It's the first time I've ever done it. Okay, cool, Amy Shark. Thank you very much. I think I'd be curious to check the ratings just quickly. Okay, so I would say it did okay. Like, for a launch night, not great, but it did all right for Australian television standards. I think it's a really interesting show, and I kind of got a bit narky on Twitter and follow me on Twitter at It's Radio Mike. Of course, historically, Australian Idol as a show, Idol as a franchise, particularly in the 2000s when it was first formed, was like, specifically, so much of the audition stage was showcasing people who were terrible at singing and convincing them that they were good enough to audition, and then humiliating them on national television, right? So many examples of this over the years. And the thing is, these people, they go into audition first. They make it look like they're auditioning blind in front of the judges. No, they've been screened by producers. They go in and audition in front of producers, and the producers behind the scene, even if they're crap, they think, this person will make a great, humiliating talent for the show. Let's convince them to audition. They convince them to audition. They humiliate themselves in front of the judges. The judges make fun of them. A classic example of this is William Hung from American Idol. I'll put in the video of him. He was that guy who basically went viral pre the internet as it is now in like 2003 on American Idol, and he sung She Bang. Classic moment.
She bangs! She bangs!
And I think we can all agree, like, he that went so viral. He was always referred to. It was a laughing stock. Looking back, Is it a little bit racist? Maybe. I'm not sure. I might need to unpack that a little bit more, and I'm not talking about that right here. But, you know, that was sort of the ethos of the show. It's like we have good singers, and then we bring in bad singers to humiliate them. Now, of course, they were doing a little bit of that, a bit more tame than originally, but they were doing that last night on the show. And Australian Idol did a tweet saying, "Please respect the artists who are giving it their all on our show. They are human. Comments are encouraged, but offensive or personal attacks will not be permitted." And then I just did a reply tweet saying, "We're happy to convince awful singers to audition and film them and then use the footage to humiliate them on national TV, but seriously, guys, show some respect." Like, I just love the gaslighting of Australian Idol to make it look like the Australian public are the bad guys when they know for a fact exactly what they're doing by airing those kinds of people that can't sing. Like, I just found that so ironic that they would say that knowing all of that stuff.